Thanks. Thanks, Tom.
Pursuant to the government of Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Southborough Council on Aging will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website at https://www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at https://www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No inadequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Agenda. All items may have one or more votes taken to the extent action is required. That covers that. And I just noticed that Marie Murphy, oh, there's Marie. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Marie.
Hi.
There's Mike. I guess we're all here now. Wonderful.
I can't see everybody though. How come?
Right now we have two mic
I don't
back.
know. You're kind of foggy, but you're there.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
have two mic backers.
I'm
because
always
I-
foggy.
Mic
That's all right.
backers now.
Yeah, because I have a split personality. And I don't have a camera on my laptop, so I'm using my phone as my camera.
Okay.
And
Very
I'm gonna
good.
put myself on mute. Thank you.
How can I get so I can see everybody at once?
You
If you
should be
go up,
able to.
if you go up to the right-hand corner and you see,
There's a little
Gallery
thing that
view.
you can click on up on the
Right.
right.
I clicked the arrow, it didn't work, but what about view? Is that gonna do it?
Right beside speaker view, there is a thing that says enter foil. That might not help you either, the full screen.
or go down to participants at the bottom, see if that makes you,
I don't have any of that stuff.
So
No?
it looks like you might be on a phone, so you're not going to be able to see as many people at one time.
No, I'm not on a phone. I'm on my laptop.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the
Oh.
wrong person then. So at the top of the screen, you probably see something that says gallery view. That is what you would want to click on.
I don't see that.
Top right. Move your cursor over it. Move your cursor way up to the top right corner.
There might just be 9 dots. It might not actually say gallery view on mine. I have to click on it for it to say gallery view.
I see participants and it lists them by name.
No, that's down below. You want to go top right corner.
That's where I am. I'm on the top right corner.
You got
Are
it
you on a
upside
Mac?
down, Marie.
Are you on a Mac?
No, no.
That's the
I'm
pro.
on Microsoft, that's what I'm always on, but I mean, I do this in my church group too, and I never had this problem before.
Hmm.
just click on something in that top right corner. Just go for it.
Is there anything there, Marie, in the top right?
It just lists the participants by name, that's all. That's on the top right. And then,
Okay, so that's the participants list. In the black screen where the videos are,
yeah,
in the top right corner of that, you might see a little square box.
yeah, it says
And then-
view.
And then, all right, so what does it say for view there?
It says speaker view, gallery view, maybe if
There
it's,
you
All
go.
right, choose gallery view, please.
okay. That's better.
Yay.
I
So
just
we're-
have to tell you too, that they're gonna be testing my heat sensor. And it's gonna be making a loud noise. I asked them if they could come any earlier, but they evidently didn't. So I might have to
Put yourself on mute.
what?
put yourself on mute.
Oh, okay.
When
When
that,
it
when that, when that noise comes up, just put yourself on mute for a few minutes and you'll be able to hear us, but we won't hear your noise. Okay? Are we all set and ready to go? So,
I don't have mute here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, I got it.
I move to adjourn.
Good try.
you can go.
Mike's out.
So the meeting's been called to order and we've gone through the protocol. We need to review and approve the minutes. It says in the agenda, it says June meeting, but it's really the July meeting, which you all received copies of, and I hope have looked through them. And does anybody have anything they would like to, Mike? Mike?
Yeah, I have to get off mute. On the thing about the Falcones, it says that Jimmy Falcone is still donating a percentage of his gas sales. My understanding was it was just 2 cents a gallon, not a percentage. But I may be wrong. I was once.
That's correct. That's correct. It's 2 cents a gallon on Tuesday.
Right. What does
Tuesday.
it say?
It says that Jim Falcone is still donating a percentage of his gas sales. And it's not, if it's not a percentage, it's just 2 cents on Tuesday.
It's 2 cents per gallon on Tuesday.
Oh,
Right.
that could be
Where was
changed.
that? Was that in the newsletter?
It's in the Friends report.
Oh, okay.
It's like the 4th paragraph down from the top.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
says Jim Falcone is still donating a percentage of his gas sales towards the tournament. No, towards the,
Actually, what that should have said is that Jimmy Falcone is still donating money towards the golf tournament. Forget that the gas sales is a
It
second.
doesn't have to be specific.
Right, but the second, the third sentence says that he's going to also give his 2 cents per gallon, but he's giving money towards the golf tournament. So
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
giving, and I'm going to report that again. So in the next thing. So
so Joe, it should, we should adjust that to say Jim Falcone is still donating towards the tournament.
It's a golf tournament. I have that.
right, yeah,
So that should, and then the next sentence explains the 2 cents off on Tuesdays. So
Right.
we need to, do I have a motion? Do I need a motion, I guess, to,
Except the,
well, is there any other changes before we, anybody else got anything they want to say? No? Okay.
Well, you should tell everybody buy their gas on Tuesday.
Right,
right.
right.
Well,
We
there
are-
was something about putting it in the
newsletter.
news.
Newsletter. Also,
We also have a plan, yeah.
well, we're into this and before we lose track of it, we're talking about putting some signs up front of the senior center, thanking Jim Falcone for donating and a little fun Burma shave type signage that says, go buy your gas Tuesdays at Falcone's. So,
How about if we put one in front of some of the other gas stations around town?
and in front of your house.
Good move.
Oh, sure, sure, put one in front of my house, I don't care.
So, do I have anything else on the minutes?
Move to accept as amended.
Who said that?
Me,
Okay, and you got that, Marie?
Mike,
Wait a minute. Who is me?
Mike,
Mike.
Mike Backer.
Okay. I think you're gonna have to say your name because it's hard for me to see who's saying yes.
Oh,
Mike
Mike back at Durr.
Okay. Who seconded it?
Second.
I'll second.
Who's that?
Carol.
Okay.
Carol.
Now you have to do a roll call vote.
Okay, Carol, say yes,
Yes.
or say something.
Something, no.
Sandy,
Yes, yes,
Sandy,
yes,
Doug,
Yes,
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Russ,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Vin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes,
okay, Bill, yes. Who's you, Cam?
me.
Are you in there
Mike.
twice?
Yeah, I have a split personality.
I don't know what you, Cam is Tom, do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a malfunctioning
Tom?
camera on my laptop.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we've covered that. It's unanimous. So
Bill, Bill, I don't think you took attendance unless you took it before I signed on. Did you take attendance?
I didn't really take attendance, but I assume since everybody's on the screen, on the gallery
Okay,
screen.
so I think everybody's here except for Joyce, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay,
Are you okay on that?
yes,
Marie?
yeah.
Okay, good. Friends report, Mary Ann.
Okay, we gave an emergency donation to a senior in need, and that was Cindy Beard made the request, and Pam also requested that. So that was a donation for a senior that we needed to help out. And then I talked with Joan Garant, and she's in charge of the golf tournament. And she said she's already received $1,500 towards the golf tournament. And I talked to her probably about a week or so ago, so she's still getting donations coming in. Jimmy Falcone is giving $5,000 towards that golf tournament, and plus his Tuesday gas money at 2 cents a gallon. And there's a flyer that is in the newsletter for people who want to donate for the golf tournament. And it's also going to be going into the Southborough Living magazine. So we're putting the information out there, and it looks like that it's going to be pretty successful getting people to donate for that golf tournament. So that's what's happening with that.
I have a couple of questions on that, on
Yes.
Jimmy Falcone. First of all, is the $5,000 in addition to the 2 Cent Tuesdays, or is it the 2 Cent Tuesdays to a
Yes.
maximum?
The $5,000 is for the golf tournament.
But is it in addition to 2 Cent Tuesdays, or
Yes,
is it
yes,
2
yes.
Cent Tuesdays up to 5?
Tuesday is something that he does year round.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and so
Oh,
that's.
okay, I had understood it differently. Thank you.
And
And the other thing is there a deadline for donations?
I don't think at this time there is a deadline. I think if you want
Obviously, as soon as possible, but
in December, I mean, I as long as you put autumn fair in the, little. thing that-
slip of the tongue.
As long as you put golf tournament, I don't think there's an issue with that, no.
Okay, I didn't, yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a little competition between Mary Ann and Joan. That's what's happening with that.
And just so you know, the autumn fair is not going to happen this year, and at this time, I really haven't discussed it too much with the committee, but Sandy Keys had mentioned that maybe we send a letter out to our donors, just thanking them in the past for doing it, not asking them to donate, but keeping us in mind for the next year. So
With a little
we do a lot of small
tear
things.
stain on the letter.
Yeah, so I think that's what we'll probably try to do. I'm going to move right into the Trailblazers because I do have a phone call I have to get at 9.
Yeah. Okay.
The Trailblazers, we've had 2 Zoom meetings, and our second Zoom meeting, we had Carl Geyer put together an incredible YouTube picture montage of all of different events that we've done over the 5 years. This was our 5th year anniversary in September, and he did this incredible YouTube video. And we would like to maybe offer it up to maybe my Southborough and even to the cable TV. I don't know if they've ever put anything on like that, but we're going to invest with that. But it's an incredible pictures of our events that we've done over the past 5 years, and he put it to music, and it's wonderful. So it's really nice to kind of have something like that put together.
Mary Ann?
Mary Ann, how do you spell his name?
Carl Geyer, Guyer.
How long is it?
It's probably about 4 minutes,
Oh, okay.
about 4.5 minutes, I think. Yeah.
I will see Terry next week from the Southborough Media Access. I'll ask her.
All right, that would be
They're
great.
always looking for stuff, so I don't see why not.
That would be great. That would be nice to do.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
then-
It would be great to fill in on cable probably for her because it's short.
Yeah, it is short. It
Yeah,
just,
that's good.
Just
It's short and it's nice to watch.
Well,
Yeah.
I would like the community to also see what our senior center active seniors are doing, so they understand that, it's more than just, the building there, that we have an active group that's doing a lot too. And I think it's important to get that message out.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
you should come on the Frank and Mary show.
I already did that. Remember, I already did that.
Well, we do it again. You update people. There's a lot of people in there.
Okay, all right. We'll
We
talk.
do it by Zoom. You don't have to even come to the
Yeah.
studio.
Okay.
Mary Ann, he wore me down, so he can wear you down.
Yeah. I've been there once, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we'll talk later. Also, when we had the Zoom meeting, we went around and people talked about different things that they were doing. And as the years have gone by, I've put together a spreadsheet of different trails basically around this area, that people can walk, seeing how we can't get together. So I sent that whole trail list out to people, and there are probably about 35, 40 trails on there. And it lists the trail, it lists what town it's in. It lists a little bit maybe about the trail if I had some information about that. So that was that. And then people were asking also about, the activities that we've done over the past 5 years. So I've kept a running list of all that. And I'd say we probably have done over about 120 different events, because we usually do about 2, sometimes 3 a month. We have missed out since March, but basically, we've done, a good 120 events, all over the state and, various states, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. So that went out to people too. And, I don't know if we want to put, I don't think we want to put something like that out in the newsletter, but again, maybe get it out to the community to just show kind of some things that, the seniors are doing and the active seniors.
I think the list of trails you could put in the newsletter.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. All
Or
right.
even, depending on how long, maybe we can condense it a little bit, but
Sure.
I like to
Put it
put,
on the back of an insert.
Yeah,
yeah, we can put it on it. I mean, I would, we can't, but I would love to put a list of like all of the bus trips that we've done or all of the certain types of activities, because people forget that we've done all of that.
Right.
So I think a list probably would be a good thing if we can fit it on an insert.
Yeah, no. And in talking to the group, I tried to, point out that, in the wintertime, we don't stop. We go out and we winter hike or we snowshoe or we do activities.
Oh,
So, I want to impress upon everyone too that, just because it becomes winter time, it's not like, oh no, winter's here and I'm going to be stuck in my house and I can't do anything. Just encourage people to get out and walk a little bit, even if it's in your neighborhood, put your winter coats on, put your little crampons or whatever, and just take a walk. So that was kind of encouraging thing, because, we don't know when we'll be able to start up our group again. But when we do, we have our list ready to go because we have everything from March, on through the summertime that, we were planning. So, so we're good to go. So that's it for the Trailblazers.
Thank you very much, Mary Ann. That list of activities for the last 5 years was overwhelming.
I
just,
know.
as I read down through it, oh, wow, we
I
did
know.
that, we did that. It was a wonderful, wonderful list. And we have, thanks to Mary Ann, done a huge amount of really great activities.
But you have to keep in mind, there's this incredible group that comes together once a month and they just come with ideas that are overwhelming. So, we have things that probably can take us another 5 years out because we have so many things to do. But, it is a great group of people that bring their ideas.
Right. Thank you very much, Mary
You're
Ann.
welcome. You're welcome.
Mary Ann, are you leaving the meeting for good? So you won't be voting anymore? Right?
I will try to come back on, but I just have to take a phone call at 9.
Okay.
Okay. Bay Paths report. Joyce isn't on here today. She couldn't make it, but she said she didn't have anything to report. So we'll move right on.
Bill, I can do it just a little bit on that.
Oh, good. Okay.
And maybe Doug can shed some light on a little bit of this. They have a new executive director over there. And he basically, we met with him, all of the area directors met with him in a Zoom meeting, and he seems really receptive to our ideas. I think there were a lot of changes made over there. So I'm hopeful that, the areas that we struggled with Bay Path, I'm really hopeful that those things will improve. So I am cautiously optimistic at this point. He really seems to have done an awful lot in a short period of time. That, I think it's going to be really positive. So we'll
Great,
see what
thank you.
happens.
Doug is an insider. Did you want to say something?
yeah, that's true. Joe has done a great job. And the biggest thing is I think the Bay Path is more financially stable now than it has been in the last 3 years financially. And I think that's really important. And our quality scores, which EOEA, Executive Office of Elder Affairs, looks very closely at, particularly for home care, have gone way up. And the Meals on Wheels program, which hit some bumpy roads at the beginning of COVID, simply because they lost so many volunteers, people were afraid to go out, is sort of really back on track. So they've been doing a really good job still with Meals on Wheels. That's a really important program.
Okay, thank you, Doug. And Doug, while you're right there, do you have anything on the legislative report that you'd like to? Nothing? Okay. Thank you. So new business. One thing I'd like to mention is I printed out a copy of the bylaws for everybody to see, and it might be interesting for you all to see them, but I don't know how to get them to you. They're long and I don't want to email them. And needless to say, we're not at a place where we can hand copies to each other, but there are a set of bylaws and somehow we'll get them to you.
We can
Maybe
mail
if
them,
I could
Bill.
leave, we could mail them. Would you?
Yeah.
Would the senior center be willing to?
Yeah, we
mail
can do
them out?
that.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
bring them back to Lorraine and she can mail them out to the members then.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Are they, how long, how many pages is this?
There's like 4 pages a piece. or
Oh, that's
something.
easy. Okay, no problem.
It's just too much to email, that's all.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Okay, under new business, report of the nominating committee. Brent, are you there?
I am. Okay, we had a committee, as you may recall from the last meeting, a nominating committee of Doug and Joyce and myself and Bill in attendance as chairman. And it was an interesting process. And what really surprised me was we were swamped by requests by people for taking the position of chairman. But we beat them back and did come up with, I think, a really good plan for our leadership for the near future. And therefore, I'd like to submit the following nominations for chairman, Doug Peck, and vice chairman, Bill Harrington.
Thank you.
Yay.
Second.
With that, is there anybody that would like to make a nomination from the floor as to somebody that you might have talked to that you might think would be interested in the position? No? Okay. All right. If there's no further discussion, then we should bring this up to a vote. Does somebody want to move that we accept the report of the nominating committee?
So moved.
A second?
Mike, so moved. Seconded.
Which did you do? You seconded,
Both.
Mike?
I've got it.
I did both. I have 2 screens. I can do both.
I'll make the motion. I'll move the motion. That's
I already have Russ and Mike. I have Russ and Mike.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
Okay, thank you, Marie. All those in
No, roll call.
roll call vote.
Yeah.
Carol,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Vin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Doug,
Yay.
Bill, yes. I think we have it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so it's official. Doug is now the new chairman of the Council on Aging. And I will be the
Congratulations, Doug.
I just have one question. Are you going to be hard to work with?
not hard, Marie, impossible.
That's why we picked them.
I think Marie, you will not have any problem with Doug. Okay, so I don't know whether I should hand the gavel over to Doug right now or finish this meeting, whichever way. Doug, do you want?
I think you should finish the meeting, Bill. I think you and I need to sit down and talk about things afterwards, but I think it's still your meeting. This will go into effect as of October.
Okay, I also have a bunch of files to give to you
Yeah,
sometime, so we need to get together sometime somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, then, if that's the case, then we need to get to Pam with, talk about programming.
Yeah, yesterday we had that was the most recent drive-through. That was probably the smallest one that we're testing out these non-luncheon kind of things, trying to put some variety in there. So that was the cupcake kit. I don't know, people seem to really like it. There's being there is great because every car that comes through is so happy to be there. They're happy to have something on their calendar. I don't think they care what they're getting. They like what they're getting, but I think they're just happy to have an activity and get out and see people. So on the other end of the spectrum, we have moved to a waiting list on the Halloween drive-through. We kind of have tentatively stopped it at 80. We're going to keep a waiting list from there and see where that goes. And then kind of, we got a little time to see if we want to expand that, open up that waiting list. We bought supplies for a certain amount. So that doesn't mean we can't expand it. We're just going to see how many we end up with. Usually it shakes out kind of where we're at eventually with people coming and going on that list. So there's no question those things are popular. I mean, 80 people signed up within like 2 days of registration. So those things are all going really well. The last ones were, in the summertime, we had the chicken dinner, the barbecue, the porch pots, and the Tina Bemis program still, we limit those to 30, 35 people because of the cost, partly because of the cost to us, partly because there's only so much we can handle and Tina can handle. So those still work, but we're still on the hunt for any new ideas with a lunch, without a lunch. We have coming up in the future, we're going to do something for Veterans Day. We'll eventually, around the holidays, we'll do a turkey dinner. We're going to do one that's focused on safety with police and fire, and we'll have a goodie bag with some really neat stuff in it. We'll probably kind of combine some kind of food in there too. So what we're trying to do is like every other week or at least twice a month, have a drive-through. I think we don't want to do them more often, partly because of the cost and partly because we did have a couple that were back to back and it felt like it was too much. So I don't want to do overkill on it either because it kind of dilutes the whole idea if we do it too often. But we're going to try to get into this pattern, and we are going to try to go as long as we can into the winter because it does have a, people seem to really like it, and it means a lot to them, I think, to get out of the house and see people. I think that's one of the prime reasons that they want to do it. And then, like I said, on those, I'd like to do a secondary part of that as we go into the winter and kind of develop a new list with Cindy, people that are not already on the extended caregiver list. Maybe a new group of people into the winter, the more isolated, not as isolated as the caregiver list, but so I'm working with Cindy on that to make sure maybe those people get something delivered to their house. We're looking at a bunch of different things for the winter. Maybe a phone call list. Maybe we'll call everybody again, like we did in the beginning, like everybody that's in the system. We might use some volunteers for that just to check in with people because I think, especially, January, February, and March might be pretty long. So if you guys have any other suggestions for that, I think we're okay with our pattern right now. We've got, we're going to stick with 3 or 4 things on cable a month. We've got a few Zoom things. We've got the fitness things are going really well as far as the sign up is concerned. We've got 2 classes. One is a chair yoga, one is a stretch kind of class. And I think we probably have one of those classes. I know we have 10 or a dozen people already signed up, and the other one is like 8 or 9 people already signed up. So that's going to tell us, it's going to give us a chance to see how this Zoom works for people and see if those classes expand. And we have a bunch of other Zooms that haven't had a huge sign up yet. So basically we'll have a pattern of, again, continue with some of the cable, some Zoom, those fitness classes. We just have to let them run for a while to see how they go. Unless you guys have other suggestions, that's kind of the pattern that I want to stick with. Probably, until like November, December, we get past that and we see what people really want. If you guys have any other ideas, how do you feel about that setup?
Looks great.
Yeah, it's good to me.
Yeah, the same kind of layout we have, with that amount of programs that are in the current newsletter. Kind of got to stick to that for the next couple of newsletters till we see if people are interested in the Zoom. We have enough variety in there, I think, to kind of test those waters. The hard part with cable, I talked to Doug about it. I don't think right now there's any way for us to tell how many people are watching cable or watching these shows. So that's kind of a challenge. We asked people in the newsletter to let us know if they liked something in particular, but other than that, it's kind of hard to tell how many people are watching. And it's a lot of work for Peg to go back and forth and set it up with these people, and it's just more cumbersome. So I'm also trying to kind of keep track of that so she can direct her attention to the more popular things, or that we have a better audience for.
How does that work? Does Peg set up with Sam for the people that she has put on? Like Horrigan was on yesterday. He's going to be on numerous times this month.
Yep.
Peg sets that up with Terry. Is that how that works?
Yeah, and I think it's kind of they're getting it refined at this point. I think there was a learning curve in there for everybody, and there's also a bit of a learning curve with whoever the performer is or whoever that is. Some of them are really well versed in getting the stuff to the cable system or to Zoom. Others were struggling a little bit. So hopefully we've got most of that ironed out and it can get easier for Peg from here forward. But it was a challenge up until this point, but I think I'm hopeful that it's going to get easier for her to set it all up. But yeah, she definitely had to get a plan with Terry.
Mhm. Okay.
So hopefully that will get smoother.
Good.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I have a question. Are the programs like the chair yoga and that, is that just for town people?
No, it's the same as always. Anybody can sign up.
Okay,
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think they have caps on them at like 18 people or something like that, but we're only like halfway there, so there's plenty of room in those. So let people know, give it a try. I know some of you guys are going to give it a shot to see. So let me, I know you guys will give me feedback on it. So we started with fairly low key classes, and we'll kind of work our way up from there. I didn't want to put in anything that was too strenuous, because there's all kinds of issues with programs like that. If you're putting in, like a real advanced class or something like that, and somebody gets hurt, there's all kinds of issues. So these classes are pretty safe, and a good way to see if there's an interest. But if you have any other ideas, let us know, and we'll work on trying to find instructors or see what else is out there.
Pam, is that Michelle's chair yoga?
It is not. It is an instructor that is up and running in at least 1 or 2 other towns.
Okay.
They already knew how to do it. We kind of,
Okay.
I kind of just,
But is it a similar, do you know if it's a similar style by any chance?
I honestly don't know, tell you the truth.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out and see if it's something you want to do.
Yeah. I don't think I've received my newsletter this month. I assume they've gone out this.
Yeah,
time.
they went out and we had registration already. So,
Yeah, so
I
I
didn't get one either.
really,
Brent, did you get one?
I didn't.
Yes.
Brent? Did you
we
get
figured
one?
out,
Boy, it's all set. I expect to get the next one. So
it took a while to figure it out. So, yeah, let me check on those too. So Carol,
Yeah, I usually get them. I'll check with Eileen to make sure she didn't grab it out of the mailbox, but
Yeah, because if you
she's
usually get
good
it,
about handing me my mail, but we both use it.
yeah, Brent was having a different kind of problem. Everything said it was okay and we couldn't figure it out, but we finally figured out where the
I-
glitch was.
Yeah, because it didn't even occur to me that we were due for a newsletter until I started hearing about events that I hadn't heard about before.
Yeah,
so-
we can mail you another one. I'll check it. I'll
Um,
double check it, but
Yeah,
nothing should have changed with yours
yeah.
if you got it before.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
You can also
All right, well,
check
let me
it out
check.
online,
Let me check
Carol.
and I'll let you know.
Sandy, what was
Yeah.
that?
Sandy?
Carol, you can also check it out online.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Do you want to go into the grants update?
Yeah,
While you're right there?
sure. I've did a final report to the Southborough Community Fund on the grants that we currently have with them, or grants that are supposed to be kind of winding down. We have 3 grants with them.
I gotta go mute now. Come in. Come in.
You're not on.
Now she got it, I think. So there's 3 grants with Southborough Community Fund. One is the caregiver grant, which I had talked to Tom Crotty about using the money that we hadn't spent while we were kind of on hiatus there with the program. And we've rerouted that money and we added those vulnerable seniors to that list. So it kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. We got more people on the list and it used up that money that we didn't use between, March and July. So we're still working on that. I think we have enough money. It's going to carry us through probably November. By then we'll know if we get the grant again next year, because I submitted that grant, but I extended it to include those Cindy's list of people to see if we can at least continue with the combined list through COVID. So, because it's a good way to check. You guys, I know that we do this to check on people every 2 weeks, plus they get the meal delivered. So I thought it'd be great if we could keep those most vulnerable people on that list. The other 2 grants were a transportation grant for $1,500, which we haven't used. It's for special transportation needs. So I'm hoping they just let us hold on to that money and continue it until we need it. The other grant, which we barely put a dent in, was the one to run 4 caregiver cafe type things. We did 1 in February. And then the other 2, the next one we had to cancel because it was in April. And then we were going to do 1 in June and 1 in August kind of thing. Obviously we didn't get to do that. So I'm not sure what that community fund is gonna do. Generally, they're pretty good about kind of letting the money sit and letting it roll. So I'm hoping that's what they're gonna do. So we'll see how that happens. As far as grants, the other grant is the formula grant. We'll see. I'm still waiting for more information on that. Like if they're gonna open up what we can use it for, loosen up those guidelines a little bit to see if we can use it for other things. Because basically we have to figure out where that fits. It's about $20,000. The good part about the formula grant is I think they're going to let us. I don't think we're going to have to turn that money back or get pushed back on it. I think they'll let us hold on to it and kind of roll it. But again, there's no details at all on any of that right now. So I'd like to sit down with a couple of people at some point and really go over the books and look at what we're spending and where we're spending it from. Right now, I'm guessing we're running these programs that we need to run. But I want to make sure come January when we take another hard look at it and say, okay, we have enough to run this many programs through the end of the year. And we have to keep in mind that in case we can reopen, that we still have some money for that. So I don't want to go spending it all kind of thing when hopefully maybe we can start up again in April. I want to make sure we have enough money there. We're in a good spot, but it's one of those things you don't want to not not spend and you don't want to spend too much. So I will have to keep a much closer eye on that. What else? Before I forget, don't forget there's a shred day coming up. And that's on a Saturday. So that has been in the last couple newsletters. So hopefully everybody's been saving their stuff that needs to be shredded.
And there's not a limit on that, right, Pam?
No, they didn't give us any limits on it. Should be pretty easy. It's like a drive-through.
Do you
We'll
know what
see.
the date of that one? Because I don't have the newsletter, so.
October 24th. It's a Saturday. It was the only day we could get. We'd rather do it on a weekday, but that was the only day they had available, so we took it. Let me know if you guys watch any of those cable shows. They look really interesting. I think she put in a really good variety of things to hopefully get people's attention.
I did watch the one, that was the early roads and trails of Massachusetts.
What'd you think?
It was interesting. I mean, it talked about, Boston Post Road, and it talked about, and it was good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of get the history. He gave a nice historical background to the different
It was
trails.
a heck of a lot of background. It was amazing the amount of detail he had about the roads coming and going through Massachusetts. It was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Good.
He'd done a lot of work on
Okay, yeah.
that.
Yeah, we just want to know. I mean, we're just kind of throwing things out there. Hopefully it'll catch people's attention and put in enough variety at this point.
Pam,
And then-
I just have a question about the legal advice with Arthur Bergeron. Are those individual, like, so you talk to him
Yep.
on an individual basis?
Yep, it's a, I mean, it's separate from all that cable stuff. He has his cable show and he's doing some other stuff for us with cable, but yeah, that's completely separate from that. It is kind of like a Shine kind of setup. Basically, you call in and he does,
Okay.
15, 20 minutes with somebody to try to either sort out an issue or figure out if they need to, do more, or good way if you've got some nagging questions to get those questions answered.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. They have that at other senior centers. We didn't do it before because we really didn't. One of the reasons was we didn't have any place to do it. So I mean, he normally he would do it in person in a private office kind of thing. But I mean, this is good. The next best thing, and it kind of got us to do it. And eventually, we may. At this point, we're seeing how many calls we get and where we go. But some of the towns rotate attorneys. They've got other people, and there probably would be other attorneys in town that might want in on that. Right now, there's only been, maybe a handful of people, maybe 3 or 4 people that have taken slots at this point. So it's one of those things, you don't need it till you need it kind of thing, or get around to asking the questions.
I have a question on that. So the 15 to 20 minutes, is that all you're talking, or is that him giving you answers, or how does that work?
That's the conversation that you're having with him. I don't think he keeps a stopwatch on it. I know, Doug, you know him. I don't think he keeps a stopwatch. I think if you're in the middle of a conversation, he would probably continue to finish it out. I think that's just to let people know that it's a fairly short period of time to kind of either get specific questions answered, or at least get you enough information to kind of know what you need to do from there, to give you some direction on future legal stuff. So it's worth a shot, Marie, if you have questions, to at least kind of get it sorted out, get it started.
Okay, thanks.
Pam, is the exercise class shut down?
Yep. Yeah, everything shut down. I did talk when we shut down, I did talk to it was Pennant, it's now Tilt. I did talk to them about virtual type things. They weren't interested at all at that point. I definitely can reach out to them again and see, who knows what's changed in the last few months. So I can do that, Vinny. Probably good timing to give them a call and see, if they're willing to do. I guess they probably could do a virtual class like that to some degree.
I see them doing a lot of exercise outside. They got a group that goes outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, they probably are up and running as far as that's concerned. I think most of those gyms are running that kind of thing. We can't, well, I don't know, that's an interesting thing. Right now, Board of Health says that we can't do anything like that with groups. Like, we can't run dull men, we can't run fitness classes, because I would have loved to have had yoga class. Well, Bill can run whatever he wants on his own, but officially we can't run those things. Yeah, I would love to have taken our yoga class outside and done those kinds of things. But the Board of Health still has us kind of locked down. I'm gonna talk to Emily again. I was gonna kind of wait until after she was done with the flu clinic. Because I think the flu clinic's gonna bring so many people in, and they are doing that outside. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe after they get that done, maybe at that point she'll see, that we can pull it off and let us do some of these outdoor things. Let us, at least open up with the Trailblazers but I talked to her a few weeks back, and the answer was still the same.
Okay.
They don't want like people congregating together. But I will check on that, Vinny, for the future. That would be a pretty good thing, I think, if they could do that kind of a class at home, and maybe instead of using equipment, use different tools. Or Marianne and I talked about like if we did that kind of class and people needed equipment, we have the money to buy the equipment and have the people take that. And that way everybody would have the same stuff. So I'll definitely look into that.
Did you say you're going to talk to Emily? Is that who you're going to talk?
Emily is the Board of Health nurse.
Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
Flu clinic is next on the agenda, but you kind of almost covered it. Is there anything more you want to say?
Well, that's gonna, just so you guys know, it's gonna be, they debated for a long time how to do it. It's not gonna be a drive-through like we do drive-throughs. A lot of towns are doing it that way. This is gonna be, you call the Board of Health, you make an appointment, you come over, you park your car, and they've got a setup where somebody will come to your car, check you in, and then you get out of your car, go over to a tent, and then the nurses are at the tent. The other thing is, just so you guys know, there's a bunch of paperwork that goes with it that they're trying to get people to fill out ahead of time, just to make it more efficient. The more of that they can get done. So some of that's in the newsletter, and they're going to have a couple of days where people can come and pick that up ahead of time. One of them will be, at least one of them will be one of the next drive-throughs. We'll hand out that stuff for them too. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I wish we could we usually do food and kind of stuff like that for the flu clinic, but we can't do any of that right now.
Thank you. Outreach, is anything on outreach that we need to hear about?
We are going to try, like I said, Cindy and I got to sit down and try to figure out, we kind of have the list. I'd like to break it down again. We have like the outreach list that we really focus on a regular basis. That's about 50 people now, including the caregivers. And then we have our list of people that can do the drive-throughs and do the exercise and the Zoom and all that stuff. But I'm looking to go through the whole census with Cindy and pick out some people kind of on that middle of the road section. They can kind of maybe get out. They're not totally isolated, but like add another layer of people that could use either phone calls or deliveries of some sort. Kind of work that through as far as outreach. She's been really busy. It's super time consuming to be on the phone. You can only talk to so many people before you get burnt out, during the day. So she's got a ton of people that she's checking on and a ton of things she's following up with. We've had a decent amount of cases come through the emergency fund. Those are not always seniors. We work with them, whether they're seniors or not, with that group with Sarah and Barbara. So we've had a lot of those. Those take up a lot of time sometimes too, trying to figure out what to do and get resources and help Sarah out with that part. So yeah, she's been real busy. The other thing with that is open enrollment's coming up for Shine. That is going to be, I don't know what that's going to be. Carolyn's nervous, we're nervous. It's pretty overwhelming for her to do it over the phone. People have been calling right and left. We're holding them off to sign up till the 14th. we have basically a spreadsheet that we have to do to sign people up. It's primarily going to be Lorraine and I using that, but there's a ton of things that Carolyn needs to know before somebody comes through the door. So it's not simple, and she's been dealing with the other towns, trying to figure out the best way. It was kind of like setting up the flu clinic. They had to reinvent the whole wheel on how they do things. So it's not easy for her. It's not going to be easy for us. So it's going to be a process. We're just going to do the best we can on it and tweak it along the way.
Thank you. Doug?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if you could even do it under a tent outside. I mean, I know Marlboro is even doing it inside. They've got a procedure where, you know, they sanitize a room and you go in right to that room. When you're done, they re-sanitize the desks and everything else and they go out. It's one
Yeah,
person.
Shine, there's no Shine meetings are being done like that at all. That's coming from Shine, not from us.
No, yeah.
That's, yeah, they're doing none in person. It's all over the phone or virtual. Yeah, that kind of answered that question for us. That was made by them.
Okay. Senior Center renovations. I talked to John this week, John Parent Facilities, about how the toilet situation is coming. And it was the same story as last month. We're going to get to it in a couple of weeks. So his story never changes. But his justification is, well, there's nobody coming into the senior center anyway, and I have a heck of a lot of projects that I need to do. So this one's kind of setting a little bit back, but it's still on his list, and he will get to it sooner or later. But
I followed up with him again. I got the same answer. So
yeah. So, and I guess it's a legitimate answer, and he says he does have a lot of fires he's putting out right now. So as far as the toilet's concerned.
Except that this is the ideal time to work on it with nobody coming in.
Well, that's true.
and that was the original thought. Yep.
Yeah, that was what the original thinking was, but now
Well,
it's
Bill,
kind of
Bill,
turned
I know-
around.
Bill, I know with the schools, well, no, he doesn't deal with the schools, but I know with the other buildings, he's probably dealing with air exchanges and stuff like that. But could the committee recommend that we would like to see this bathroom be completed by a certain time, just to give a date to say, could this, you know, the committee recommends that this be done by December 31st or whatever date, just to kind of give some sort of semblance that the committee is looking for some sort of completion.
I can do that with John. I think I might get a better response than Bill.
Well,
Even if it's no.
The response I get from John on something like that is, yeah, fine, yeah, that's good. And then as it gets closer, he starts his little tap dance act, and it kind of goes beyond what we had anticipated. But as Pam said, she may have a little better.
I can just tell him that you guys wanted a date, and
Okay.
we don't have to. It doesn't have to be next week, but you know, within a few months, hopefully he can. You know,
I think sometimes when it comes from the group or from the board,
Yep.
it may, and especially if it goes into our minutes that we
Yep.
say that this is, you know, then it's going to be out to the public that we're asking for this to be done by a certain time, you know.
Yep.
You know.
no, I think having a date on there definitely will help. And I definitely will tell him it's the board's request that there's a date. The other option is we could have Doug send him a formal note. Coming from Doug. I mean, Doug will meet, probably want to meet with him anyways at some point in general, but that might be another way to do it. Kind of that way we have it something in writing
Do
to
we
him
wanna
from
set
the
it-
council.
Do we want to set a date like the end of the year or something like that?
I think that sounds reasonable. I mean, that's
Does the
really,
group
that's
have a suggested
reasonable.
date?
I'm going to preface this with, don't shoot me for asking, but have they even gotten an estimate on having someone else do the job?
Yes, and if they did, it would cost us way much more because it's
Okay.
the town employees that are doing it within their job time. So it's costing us.
Okay,
mostly
I
just
had
the
to ask the
material.
question anyway. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
the
But,
cost is
I
basically.
was wondering if maybe we could scrap together a few dollars.
Well, there's no real
Yeah,
urgency of this project at
Okay.
the moment, although we'd
yeah,
like.
no, I'm
No, but it would be
really
nice to
thinking
have
in
it-
terms of the building being virtually empty now, and it's the ideal time.
Yes.
Bill,
The other, excuse me,
Bill.
the other,
Oh.
1 second, Doug. The other thing is the impact of this project, even if the building was being used, is not that big. So they could be working on that project even if we're using the building because they're kind of over in the back corner there. So it isn't the end of the world if they were
So-
doing it
oh,
when.
okay, because I
when the
understood that
place
they
was
were going to
open.
have to close down the existing room while they work on the new one.
But it might be just for a day or something like
Okay.
that. Doug, did you
no,
want to say something? Or
that
somebody?
was me.
Oh, Brent?
I agree with Mary Ann. I think the weight of a actual vote by the Council on Aging, put in the form of a letter requesting that it be completed by a date, December 31st, would be really the best way to do that. It takes the onus off of any individual. And he will understand that it was not just an individual making a complaint, but that it's the whole board that's interested in having this done. So I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter to John Parent requesting that the additional bathroom be completed by December 31st.
2020.
Funny.
Idea.
Good boy.
Seconded.
Do I have a second?
Mike
second.
seconds.
Okay, all in favor? We got to do all the way
You
around.
have to have
roll
discussion,
call?
Bill. You gotta have discussion first.
Just a question, what's the estimated length of the project? Is it really a 2-day project, a week project? I don't know.
I would guess maybe a week or two.
Oh, okay.
Now, you're working with people who have other things to do in their job during the day. So they're gonna be doing this, but if some emergency comes up, they
Yeah.
might have to run off and do something else.
That's what
and
I'm
get
afraid
back to
of.
it. So I would say a week or two.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm not pessimistic about this whole thing falling off the radar completely. It's just a matter of when. I mean, there's enough people, the Board of Selectmen, like everybody knows that this was on the list, all the powers that be. So I'm not afraid that it's just never gonna happen. It's just, I think it's more of when it's gonna happen. But I'm not worried that it's gonna fall off the radar completely.
So rather than just ruffle feathers, Pam, what do you think? Again, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
What do you think if you went to John and say, look, the board is voting on getting this done? Give us a reasonable date when you can, hold pretty
Yeah,
fast.
we can do it that way and then confirm what he says in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That way
however
we
you
can-
guys want to do it is fine.
Yeah, rather than just making it arbitrary on our part. If he says January 31st, okay, then we say, that's your date and you're
Yeah.
owning it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that might be a little softer sell, but I do think it needs to be confirmed in writing
Right.
to him
No,
from
I
the
agree with
council.
that. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, however you guys want to
Well,
do it.
you know what? Why don't we send the letter saying we'd like to have it done by December 31st or a date agreed upon with John. So in other words, so we're saying that we would like to have it done by the end of this year, because let's say they do open up the senior center January 1st. Now he's going to have the issue of people are in there, and if he's
Absolutely.
tying it into the other toilet, which he is, the other bathroom, then you're going to have those issues. So I think you say the date or a date to be determined with the facilities manager, because I'm not, if you don't give people a time frame, it's like anything else. We're retired. Oh, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. And I think you get in that same mode that he'll do it tomorrow. He'll do it tomorrow. So I think you say the date or a time agreed upon with the facilities manager.
I'll accept that as my motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
As amended.
Yeah.
As amended, yes.
Okay.
Second the amendment.
I just would like to know how I should word the whole thing now, the motion again, because I had what Russ had said in the beginning, but now how should it be worded?
That was Brent.
That was Brent.
That was Brent, Marie. That was Brent.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Brent, yeah.
Yeah,
You wanna state
my
it,
my
Brent?
motion was to send a letter to John Parent, asking him to complete the project, the bathroom project, assist the senior center by December 31st or a mutually agreed upon date.
Do I have a second to that, Reed?
I second it.
Okay. You get that, Marie?
Was that Mary Ann?
Yes, it was.
Yes. Okay, roll call vote. Carol,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes,
Vin,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Bill, yes. It's unanimous. Are you set on that, Marie?
I got it, yep.
Thank you very much.
Bill, Bill, I have to get going.
Goodbye.
So both of us are leaving. Elvis and I are leaving the room.
Okay, see you in a few minutes.
You bet.
Bye, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Bye, other Mike.
Bye.
Moving right along, the walking challenge update. Sandy?
Okay, I'm going to be sending an email to all of the participants near the end of September, telling them that they will, asking them if they will send their completed log information to PEG. And then in early October, we will have a random drawing for names for $25 gift cards for 4 to 6 individuals who have participated. So I'll work that out with Peg as to how we're going to set that up before I send out the email. And I've been trying to keep in touch with people periodically through the summer. I hear back from some of them, and everybody's still excited about walking. So we'll keep it up.
Speaking of prizes, I just gotta quick ask Mary Ann a question. I have a box of miscellaneous stuff that we had for the Trailblazers, and we've had for other prizes and other volunteers. So I have some of those green backpacks. I don't know if you want those for Trailblazers. Anybody that wants those, let me know. They're the string backpacks.
Right.
So let me know. And then we also have some other stuff in there. We have the tote bags. We have some of those left. If any of you guys didn't get one or want one, so just let me know. Just send me an email if you want that, and I'll get it to you.
You know what, Pam, when we get back together again, I'll take those string bags, and we have some new people that can probably have those out too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They had there's no hats left, but there might be, I know there's t-shirts left too.
Okay.
I was going to say, I don't know about anybody else, but my t-shirt's running its 5-year course.
Only
We
one
might
per
wanna-
customer, Carol, only one per customer, sorry.
No, I was going to say we might want to think about a new issue for everyone, not just me.
With a new logo, like we survived the pandemic or something. We survived the pandemic.
Sandy,
got some-
thank you very much for keeping that walking project going and following through on it. That's really good. Thank you.
A quick comment, Sandy, on the logs that you got that we got off of the website for the walking thing. There's no place to put your name, so you need to remind people to be sure when they send their logs in that their name is on the log.
I think what we will be doing is asking them to send their name and the total number of miles walked, and sending
okay.
that information into PEG. And
Okay.
then
Rather than
we'll
just,
do-
yeah.
So we don't need to send the daily.
No, I mean, that helps you keep track of
Right,
what you've been doing. And we don't really need to have the
Right,
total,
yeah, okay. I didn't think
you
that
know,
was-
the whole log. So we don't need all that paperwork.
Right. Okay, thank you.
You don't care.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Elaine.
You're welcome.
All right, senior center gardens, they're kind of being put to bed. I know Joyce said the her garden's pretty much closed down, and Carol.
Well, Bill, actually on the gardens, we're leaving them for the time being because there are still tomatoes and herbs that are there that people can help themselves to. Not too many tomatoes, but you can check it out. And there's some newly seeded lettuce that is growing. So keep an eye on it, and we may try to get in and add some fall flowers to it. Joyce and I were there last week and last weekend, and there's still a lot of stuff that people might want to help themselves. There's basil, and we just picked 2 peppers the other last week, a bunch of tomatoes. The beans are pretty much gone, but we're going to keep it going for a little bit longer.
Oh, great. I understood from Joyce that she had pretty much closed down. So that's good info. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt again. Sandy, another question. On the garden, you have herbs there. What do you do with them when the season is over? Do you just pull them out and throw them away?
Depends on what the condition is that they're in by that time. There's a
Okay,
lot of
would you
basil.
have, yeah, some of the other herbs, would you have any problem with somebody coming and taking the herb and putting it in a pot and keeping it through the winter?
No, we do have a perennial thyme plant there that just keeps coming back. It's been there for, I think, a couple of years now. So I think we would want to leave that one there.
Yeah.
I think the others are pretty much, or maybe, I don't know. I think that they're annuals for the most part.
So like the basil is an annual. There might be a couple of perennials. I don't know if you have chives there. I was going to mention that about the herbs being, and they're good until a frost. But yeah, that's a good point, that if someone wants to take the, excuse me, the annual ones and pot them up and bring them indoors, they'll last maybe not through the winter, but longer.
Right.
The other thing, and this is what I'm doing out front, is leaving the dead twigs. I know some people think that gardens with dead stuff in it is unsightly, but the birds love that stuff. They feed on it. They'll eat the seeds. They'll do whatever. They'll use the twigs for nesting, any birds that winter over in the area. So don't feel compelled to clean it out squeaky clean. That's my
that's
my native garden 2 cents.
Okay.
A lot of the things that are in the garden can go pretty much up until at least a frost.
Yeah, and again, we leave things through the winter and don't clean up until the spring, because the birds don't have anything else to that's where they depend on that for food during the winter sometimes, and that's anyway.
Thank you, Sandy, Carol.
And actually, can I speak on the front garden too then, Bill?
Sure.
The flagpole garden, I'm pleased to say, is coming back. The senna regrew. It's certainly not as tall as it was before it was hacked down, but it did regrow. And I don't know if it'll flower. I'm tending to doubt that it'll it may be budding, but I don't know. We'll see. I haven't been over there in at least a week. But I did get a load of mulch from the DPW, and I think that's dressed it up a bit and neatened things and kept the weeds back a bit. So I think all's good now with DPW for now, and the garden's sort of kind of back to growth stage, but it's looking almost as good as it did before.
Thank you very much for your efforts, Carol. That's a huge
Oh,
effort.
and we got a plaque. I haven't seen it yet because I've been away, but
It went up the other.
Pam, do you want to mention that?
I was just gonna mention that because
you're the Bill. Okay.
I'm the Bill that put it up.
You're the Bill. Okay.
And it's a nice little plaque. We mounted it on the back of the big sign that's out there in front of the garden, and it says in memory of, or words to that effect, Madeline Hine, dedicated volunteer. And it was her family that donated the money to have that sign made and we.
Would
And the
you-
plant, and they donated money to the Friends for the plant, the original plants that were put in there. As well as
Yeah.
more money than that, but they definitely, we purchased the plants with that.
Yeah, it brings up whether we'd want to, well, I mean, no one's approached me, excuse me,
Who is it?
but someone like a John Morrow. I mean, I didn't know John myself.
I have to mute again.
Would we want to, have make the plaque situation available to other people? I would think that the answer is yes, but what's everybody else's feeling about it? I'm thinking small, how big this plaque is, short of donations by people. What are people's feelings about having some sort of recognition of significant, whatever, volunteers?
I think,
For the same garden or?
Well, I mean, it could be the same garden. It doesn't, now, was this plaque mounted on, you said it was on the back of the sign?
It is mounted on the back of the big sign. It's a.
Yeah,
plaque about-
I was
it's
more
a plaque
thinking,
about 8 inches by a foot maybe, and maybe not that big.
oh, okay, I'm thinking like something maybe 4 inches by, two, like what, 3 by 6 inches or something, stuck in the ground, not too conspicuous, but giving people an opportunity if it's an excuse for a contribution, but it's also a way of
What I would think, now that you mentioned that, is why don't we do it like, you buy these bricks where you donate money and you get a brick?
There you go, yeah.
We could,
Actually,
we could have people donate money and have a little plaque similar to what we did for Madeline on the back of the sign. We could fill up the back of that
we
sign.
could fill up the back of the sign, because the sign's not that beautiful on the back anyway. It's solid white, which is the purpose of the Senna, to cover it, though. That's the only thing. The Senna will cover it in the summer.
Well, if you don't get it overgrown like it did.
Well, no, that's the purpose of it, is to get it overgrown. Well, actually, no, but you brought up you just reminded me of something with the bricks. We have the brick edging. What if we have these, make the bricks available for mounting little, we can talk more further about it at different
Yeah, I
venue.
really think it's worth following up on, Carol, and maybe you want to.
We sell them for $50 or $100 a piece or something like that.
Yeah. Do you want to kind of honcho that little project? Carol?
Yeah.
Great.
yeah, Carol, we
Okay.
can talk
Yeah,
more
we'll put
about it,
something
because
in the newsletter, and
Yeah.
we have to we'll talk to the Friends too. They probably have to be, well, you're on the
yeah, I'll
Friends.
see what it would cost for each plaque, and then we'll come up with something.
Yeah, I have the price and stuff, so we can.
I missed a lot of that. I think I got some of it, but the siren was blasting in
Well,
here.
it's still kind of
A work in progress.
formation status.
There was a discussion on it, and
Discussion about memorial plaques in the flagpole garden in front of the senior center.
Bill,
More to come.
I think,
What to come.
Bill, I think you should put that on the next agenda, because it's worthwhile of more discussion and thinking by people between now and then.
Tell
Because
that
it's
to-
complex.
And I welcome input.
And it sounds like there needs to be some kind of policy, otherwise it's really going to get out of control.
Yes, absolutely. We don't want to end up with a cemetery.
Actually, Brent, it's Doug's problem, not mine.
Well, I'm asking you right now.
Throw
since
that
you're
gavel
gonna
at him,
put it
Bill.
On the agenda for Doug.
But I think.
I say
Carol-
Doug is gonna put it on the next agenda.
Yes, definitely
Yes.
goes on the next agenda, and I think Carol, you and Pam and anybody else, we need to develop that into something that's
Okay.
workable. But I think it's a darn good idea.
Yeah, and there are plans for expansion. You didn't hear that here. Oh, except it's recorded.
We'll have a garden in the woods in the front yard. if Carol has
Picture,
her
no
way.
more lawn. We're getting rid of lawns everywhere.
I got Bell Men's Club on there. That's doing what it's doing. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we adjourn? No?
Oh,
Okay.
I just wanted to say, I guess I'm gonna have to have Doug get in touch with me about how he wants things to happen, because with Bill, I would do my minutes and send them to him, and he, I guess, would check with Pam on certain things, and then he would tweak, change things and send it back to me. That's the way we did things. So you can think about how you want to run things with me.
It seems like the good way to do it to me.
Yeah,
so
I
don't
think so, too.
change it Just yet, so
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Bill's got
All right.
my email.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'd like to just say thanks for all of you guys for all the help you've been for the time that I've been head up here. And I would like to also thank Brent for doing the nominating, kind of getting the nominating committee report in. And congratulations to Doug for accepting the chairmanship, and I wish you well, Doug.
Thank
And,
you.
And should we schedule a thank you party for Bill being the chair for, we schedule that for what, April, May?
A Zoom party. We'll have a Zoom.
Either that or we just kind of drive around and we drive in. He's speaking about
We'll have a
the-
drive-through party, yeah.
I
that's
think
it.
he'd prefer to meet
We'll
at,
drive by his house and wave a flag.
he'd probably prefer to meet at JP's or something like that at the bar for a beer, I think, probably.
Yeah.
and then we'd invite Howie.
Did you all know that
Background,
JP's,
don't let him hear that.
did you all know that JP's has been sold?
Yes.
I don't know if you knew. Yeah, they bought it for an investment, but they're gonna keep some of the other workers there.
Oh, God, I hope so.
I heard it was going to stay basically the same.
Same menu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do want to thank you, Bill, for all your years and all your hard work for what you've done for the Council on Aging, because it was really a lot of work. and we
Amazing.
Appreciate everything that you've done. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
And
Phew.
Seconded.
Kind
Yeah, I
words.
can't thank you enough.
So we'll take a
Thank you,
vote
Bill.
on that.
No,
Bye,
no.
everybody.
Okay.
I won't see you this morning, Bill.
Do I, given nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
I
I suppose we have to go
I've got
through a
Russ
vote.
and Carol, I've got Russ and Carol,
Yeah, that's fine.
and
So,
then we have to do another roll call.
right on. So Carol,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Vin,
Yes. Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Sandy,
yes.
Brent,
Yeah.
and Doug,
Yes.
and Bill. So I guess we're adjourned. Thank you very
That's
much again.
You
And
can devote all your time to domains now, Bill.
No, we can't call it that. Go meet with those other
Yeah,
men.
yeah, unofficial,
Dull persons.
unofficial.
Oh,
Adult
well,
Persons Club. No more
the-
dull men's. It's
the
dull
dull
persons and
guys,
I
the
want to
dull-
join.
Now, I have a
Guys
question.
Club.
You're not dull, Carol. You can't join.
No, I want to join. This is sexist.
I have a question about this. See, what I did was I copied this council on aging list that Bill gave me on the members and the alternates and everything. So who does that now? Do I do that, or did you always do that, Bill? Or
I always did it. I think Doug, I'll talk to Doug, but I think he'll probably keep track of who we are.
Yeah.
And
so there's really no alternative now, right?
that we have no alternates at the moment.
Right.
We have a couple of honorary members in Elaine, which we thank very much, Elaine, for keeping up with us.
My 2 cents worth, huh?
Yeah, that's great. We love to have you and
Oh,
thank you very
at
much
least
for
4
sticking
cents
with
a
us. And
minute.
also Tony Cordani, who is also kind of on our list of honorary members.
Tony and who else?
Pardon?
What did you say?
Elaine and Tony.
Okay,
Tony.
I
Tony.
got that. Okay.
Other than that, I wish you all well and we'll see you.
Good to see
around
everybody.
campus, as they say.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
next meeting is
Yeah.
on-
Bye,
Stay
guys.
safe and stay well.
Everyone.
Okay.
All righty,
Thank
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Again.
Off.